Yes, we have three.
Good morning. For the record, my name is Kevin Kuster, Vice Chair of the Sign Advisory Council. Members, can I please have an eye when I call your name? Paul Wolf.
Here.
Ben Norman.
Here.
Staff, we have Billy Sott.
Here.
Thank you. This open meeting of the Sign Advisory Committee is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12, 2020. That order, posted with the agenda materials for this meeting, allows public bodies to convene remotely so long as public access to deliberations is reasonably provided. This meeting is convened via Zoom with video and audio recording, and we are being broadcast via the YouTube on the town's YouTube channel. This meeting will feature public comment, and the materials provided to the members for the meeting or provided during the meeting are, unless otherwise noted, available on the town's website. During the meeting, I'll introduce agenda topics and speakers. Please remember to mute your Zoom audio until your name is called. Let's direct comments and questions through the chair to avoid crosstalk and that taking of minutes easier. Lastly, all votes will be conducted by roll call. With all that, let's move on to the meeting. Could I get an approval of the agenda, please?
So moved. I'll second that.
All those in favor? Ben?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
And I'm in favor as well. Let's move on to our agenda. Oh, let's see, yeah. Can you put that up, Billy?
Yeah, give me 1 second.
Are there any commissioner comments?
No.
All right. Do we have any public comment this morning? Okay. I think we can move on to our agenda. First, we have NIR at 4 Harbor Square, the Straight Wharf Fish.
Good morning, Chair and Council members. I'm Jonathan Kirby, representing Workshop APD. The first submission that we have here is for the signage application over the front door facing the Harbor Square. Billy, do you mind if I actually share my screen? We do have some supplemental documentation to share as well.
Nope, give me 1 second. And
Perfect.
You can share now.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Can everybody see my screen?
Yep.
Perfect. So this is an existing photo prior to construction work on the site that shows the original Straight Wharf Fish store above the front entry door. This sign was approximately 22 inches tall by about 48 to 52 inches wide. And as you can see, it was located on the second story bump out. In addition, on this photograph, you can see 2 additional signs, one above the door for ice cream, as well as one smaller sign to the right of the door for ice cream as well. These signs have been removed and are not being proposed to be turned back in their locations. Our sign proposal for this side of the building is a wall-mounted sign, 24 inches tall by 30 inches wide. With all capital letters reading Straight Wharf Fish, the background of the sign being white, and the color of the text, the logo, as well as the stripe around the perimeter being navy. Looking at the plan, as you can see, the location of the sign is highlighted in red. Again, this is facing the harbor, the gazebo. To the right of this is 10 Straight Wharf, which is Straight Wharf Restaurant. And with that, I'll turn it over to the council for any comments.
Okay, did you by any chance have a chance to listen to our earlier comments?
I think there was an issue with the upload to YouTube, but we did speak to Billy, and he was very helpful and kind of relaying some of those comments. We do know that there was concern about this sign being located on the second story bump out, but we believe that that being the historical location of the sign, I believe there's good precedent to maintain that sign in that location. And similarly, we've reduced the overall size of that sign.
Okay, do you mind going back to the previous photo of that?
Sure.
Yeah, just to point out, it looks to me like your door casing is up higher to that bump out.
Yeah, the door casing is going to be modified. So this door casing is going to come up to the top of the casing around the windows. But the architectural of the building, scale, size was all submitted to HTC and approved.
Right, I think we were just trying to figure out if there was room for a sign above the
Sure.
door, which is more typical. Just a note, unless you have some approvals on any of the signs that are on that building, we don't assume that they were approved.
Sure.
So anyway, any comments from the board? Ben?
Yeah, so this is really helpful to see this image. And one thing that I'm looking at right away is that the distance between the top of the door and the bottom of that projecting bay, or whatever you want to call that gable, is very tight. You know, it's probably maybe 10 inches or something like that. It's also worth noting that the top of the door height and the bay window, top of bay window height are equal. So that's a straight line going across, or a height that's going across. And lastly, just to comment on this, the trim of the building is that kind of gray, whatever gray color it is, and that the sign matches the trim, which is beneficial. So if we go to the proposed, do you mind going to the proposed, Jonathan?
Sure.
So I'll go through those three comments in relation to what I'm looking at here. So first off, the height of the door compared to the bottom of that bump out is probably more in the 24 inches in this situation. So that's a very different appearance than the previous existing. Number two, the bay windows are significantly higher than the door height. That's an architectural issue, but it comes into play with what we're talking about. So maybe the relationship to the bump out to the top of the bay window is the same, but the whole building seems to have gone up, or something weird is going on. So that's something's different there. And lastly, the sign, it's white, and we're looking at this gray trim. I think that's a miss there. And also the shape of the sign, really, and I hope you don't take this the wrong way, but it looks like it's a temporary sign. It doesn't, the scale isn't right. The existing sign was much more horizontal in form. It kind of fit under those windows a little bit more in proportion to that space. And this just feels like a vote for the next president, like a political lawn sign or something. So I'm not yet comfortable with this. I'd rather see some type of corner board above the door, I think, or some blade sign that hangs or something. So I'm not comfortable yet with this proposal. Thank you.
Thank you.
Paul?
I agree with most of what Ben said. I think a sign is more appropriate over the door than under the windows on the second floor. It's not clear to me at this point what the door in relationship to the bump out above or the windows is. And I think I'd like to see a drawing in detail showing how much space there's going to be between the door, top of the door frame. And right now it's showing 5 courses of shingles below the bump out. So from what I think I heard before, that something's going to be moved or the door's going to be bigger, I don't know. So I think we need a a sketch of what that's going to look like. The other question I have is this showing in this location, if we were to approve it, currently there's a light fixture right about where that sign is, and I'm assuming that that's going to go away. But until we get a redesigned picture, I'm not going to worry about it. That's it. The sign
Okay.
looks okay to me.
Thank you, Paul. I agree pretty much with everything that's been said. For me, it's primarily the shape of the sign. I think it should be more horizontal and a little more pronounced over the entrance. So, do you have any comments back to us? Is it Mark?
I mean, we can make those revisions to the proportions of the sign. I think that in keeping with the original sign, it was more horizontal. I think that I can turn it over to Gabriel, who is the operator of the space, and he can comment on the aesthetics of the sign as well as the placement, whether it be above the door or on that second floor bump out.
Yeah, if I may, and thank you for your time. A couple of things to note. One, the matching of the original sign to the trim color was due to ennui and neglect, not an aesthetic decision. Once upon a time, that original sign was white, and over time it simply ceased to be. But be that as it may, you know, obviously we want to be very respectful of the aesthetics here. And yeah, I see that looks great. That is a white sign. We have it. We want to be very respectful of the aesthetics and aesthetic considerations here. It's also the case that, as you know, you guys are all aware, this is a very hidden location, particularly coming from, you know, if you're coming from town, it is tucked behind the gazebo, behind Straight Wharf, behind a lot of rows of Sharon, et cetera, et cetera. And the bump out casts a pretty dramatic shadow. You know, I am nervous about putting the sign beneath it. We are not looking, you know, to trumpet our location, but we'd also love not to hide it. I don't know about the removal of that light post. To be clear, it's something we've asked about. There are some considerations there that are above my pay grade. We'd love to see that light moved. I believe at present that is not the plan. Anyway,
I think
totally
on there, if I could, Gabriel, I think Paul was
Yeah.
referencing
That light.
that light.
Oh.
And I don't know if there's any lighting proposed for the new sign.
Apologies. Yeah. Thank you. I think I reacted to that street light being moved because I'd love that street light to be moved. But I think it's not going to. Yeah, there was a plan for some lighting, I believe, and frankly, I forget what it is at this point. You know, totally willing to play around with the sign as the committee sees fit, whether it's you know, making it more horizontal. I agree that the scale is wrong. You know, and initially, once upon a time, we had envisioned it hanging off the building. Basically, I wanted it to echo the Straight Wharf restaurant sign, where it would come off the building on two little dowels, and look in scale and function just like the Straight Wharf restaurant sign. But it was suggested to us that something hanging off the building would be more objectionable. So this is where we ended up.
Okay, I think one thing perhaps worth looking at is whether or not you could hang a blade sign at this, you know, lower down underneath that bump out.
Yep.
All right, pleasure of the board.
Are we gonna hold for revisions?
Do we have a second?
Second,
All those in favor? Ben,
Aye.
Paul,
aye, so long as we can get a sketch or a plan of what the front of the building's gonna look like, because I've heard two different things.
okay.
Aye.
And I'm in favor as well. What do we go around to the back side?
All right, the second sign we are submitting for is another wall mounted sign on the wharf side above these doors that provide access to the public, for the public to the dining area. This sign is looking at the plan marked here on this dash line, which is the line of the gable end above. Again, we did hear some comments regarding the placement of the sign, requesting it to be located below the gable. I will note that as part of our submission to the HDC a few months ago, in response to some concerns of the neighbors, we do have a canvas awning that is going below this gable, and I can share the HDC drawings for that. But that structure would essentially make the signage below the gable not visible. Sign characteristics similar to the front sign. The colors, the primary color is white. The lettering is navy, as well as the stripe around the perimeter. Overall height is 12 inches and width is 92 inches. And the guiding dimension for that was the historical lobsters signage that was on the gable side. As you can see in this photo, that sign was significantly larger than 12 inches tall. So we're proposing a reduction in the overall signage sign. You can see slightly here, there are two existing lights on each side. We're proposing to keep those to illuminate the sign through side lighting. I will point out, in addition to that, I think there were some questions for us to provide all existing signage. This is the photo from 2017 showing that lobster sign, as well as an additional hanging sign for the Stars ice cream and frozen yogurt.
Okay. I just want to point out, I'm sure it'll come up, I just want to point out that it's been our practice not to have, not to be advertising businesses on the harbor side. I understand there was a lobster sign there. Again, I don't know if that was approved or not. However, even if it was, it doesn't refer to a business. It refers more to an activity and a more product. But I think our overriding concern here from our last conversation on this is that it's highly unusual to have signs on the waterfront. A similar precedent was when the Dreamland had asked to replace all of their historic sign on the back of their building, and we've been really making an effort to keep our harbor vistas looking towards town, being as free as possible from signage. And the reason for that is the primary goal and part of our guidelines is that the signs be located over the primary entrance. So therefore you'll see on shops and so forth along the harbor that the signs are on the primary side and not on the harbor side. Anyway, with that said, Paul, do you have some comments?
No, I agree with what you said. If we were to agree to this sign, I think it's too high and it would have to drop down to the top of or near the top of the awning. This is where the awning is going, I believe. It should not be up in the middle of the gable. I guess I'd like to see it in conjunction with the other sign as well, but You know, I think the argument about being on the water is questionable. There's a lot of people getting off the boats that would see this. So it may be okay, but it's not my first choice. But can we see the other sign for straight wharf fish, just so I can put this in perspective?
Sure.
Is that it?
This is the other sign for straight wharf fish.
Okay,
That's it.
I was thinking of another, maybe I'm thinking of the restaurant.
Oh,
So,
I can switch over to that as well.
no, I don't. Well, I see, no, it's a different subject.
Okay.
Um, So I don't have any strong comments one way or another. I mean, the sign itself is fine. It's just a question of whether anything goes there or it drops down to a lower location.
Ben?
Yeah, you know, I'd love to see that old lobster sign go back up. I think that's vestige of our old kind of more simple tourism here that was really quaint and memorable for a lot of people. Unfortunately, I'm not in support of replacing that sign with a branded a sign that represents the brand of the restaurant or market or whatever. Unfortunately, I see this as sort of a billboard and not a directional sign. So unfortunately, I'm not going to be in favor of this one.
Okay,
Mr. Chair, if I may, for just a quick moment, I did pull up the sign guidelines and I did look into it. I couldn't find anything within the sign guidelines with reference to advertising towards the harbor. There was no provisions in there for that. However, with wall signs, they must be located at or near a public entrance, and one wall sign is permitted for each public entrance of a building.
So this would be two.
There's more than one entrance.
Okay.
okay, I think the if in the previous business, the ice cream sign that was on a blade sign off to the side was something that people could see when they were trying to make their way around at customer level. I just don't feel that any customer trying to walk around the back to get in there is going to even see that sign up on the gable, and therefore I do think it's more advertising than it is to locate the entrance to the business. I also think on both of the signs we really need to see what you're proposing for lighting. It's high. The lighting shown on that photograph there does not meet the guide. It does not meet the current town lighting guidelines that have recently come out.
Right, of course.
So those are my comments. Was a pleasure of the board.
Could I jump in?
Oh, sure. I'm sorry. I missed getting back to you. Sorry.
I'm assuming, but I shouldn't assume anything, that the Stars ice cream sign goes away.
Yes,
I
sir.
believe
That's
that's
correct.
Okay, thank you.
Could I comment? Would it be possible?
Sure.
Thank you so much. Yeah, and obviously the Stars ice cream sign will be within this awning that is, or sorry, where the Stars ice cream sign hung will be within the new awning that was a condition of our settlement with our neighbors. We too love the lobster sign. The problem there is that A, the lobster sign is gone, and B, we're not selling lobsters, and we feel like it would likely cause just an endless headache to put up a big sign that says lobsters and then
So sorry.
not sell them. So sort of there we are. I don't know. I would ask of the board, you know, of the committee here, what is the best way for us to locate this building for our guests? From a signage standpoint, how do we previously with the lobster sign, the star sign, and the straight wharf fish store sign, they had three, you know, sort of three, and I understand these might have been approved, but just practically speaking, there were three ways of identifying, you know, here we are, and there is not sort of much in the way of frontage here. If we get rid of the water side, and I too couldn't find anything in the guidelines or submissions suggesting that we not do that, but if that's practice, that's fine. If we get rid of the water side, we are left with you know, facing the straight wharf deck, and then facing the back of the gazebo there, and obviously we'll figure out a way to get a small sign up facing gazebo. But what is the best way to literally, you know, appropriately sign this building?
I can make a suggestion on that, Mr. Chair, if you want, because I do have an opinion.
Sure, Ben, go ahead.
You know, I think a blade sign that was in the same proportion as what you're proposing as a wall sign, at the corner, kind of where the star sign is in this image, but rotated 90 degrees, so like coming off that corner, so that water people can see the sign. So you're coming on water taxi from your mooring, you can see it. So kind of where that white storm door is there with that little cover, if it came off there, like a blade sign there, I could definitely see that in that 30 by 24 shape. And then over the front door, having more of a wall sign in proportion, like you have, probably not as large, but like you have in the gable, but over the front door somehow, showing that as your main entrance.
Jonathan, is it possible to show the awning, the awning overlay, just so we can get a sense of what space we have to work with?
Yep.
Thank you so much.
Yep. Right. So I wish I could point, but the first window after the awning and the corner board, yeah, like a blade sign in that location, I think would be pretty successful. Yeah, personally.
That would give you both you know, both approaches without having it being such a billboard.
Yeah.
What if the word lobsters was replaced with the word fish?
I mean, I love that sign. I think it's, you know, it's interesting, you know. I have no problem with that, but
No, it's still a billboard.
I know, but it doesn't, I don't know. Yeah, all right. There's a soft spot for me, nostalgic soft spot for me for that. So I'm, you know, scallops or clams, I love that. But anyway, back to my suggestion. Yeah, I mean, I think a blade sign there would be really successful, and then a more horizontally orientated door sign over the front door would be great too.
Yeah, I would agree with that approach. Would you like to hold for revisions, Ben?
Yes, please.
Do we have a second? Paul?
Second.
All those in favor? Ben?
Aye.
Paul?
Hi.
And I'm in favor as well. Next up is
Just a quick comment. I think Ben's suggestion is really a good one.
Thanks, Paul.
Of clams? I'm in.
No.
Seconded. Thank you.
Okay.
I think we spent some time talking about this at the last meeting also. And given what we've said, do you want to proceed, or do you want to try to find another location.
We'll move on. I mean, obviously, the idea here was to echo the other sign, but if the other sign doesn't exist, then I guess the echo is is none of the above.
Yeah. Should we just hold this to track with the others?
I make a motion to hold it for revision, but I'd like to see the freestanding sign that's in front of the restaurant, because that's the primary sign near the primary entrance. So there it is, right there. Okay.
Yeah, that was the request last time, to see what other signage you had for the restaurant. And it looks like you have a menu box and a freestanding sign.
That's correct.
Is there
That's-
one by the other door there, the main kind of formal
Nope.
entry? No
Nope,
sign?
just nope.
Just these.
Yeah. Well, you do have one of the few remaining freestanding signs. So
Yeah, it's a great sign.
okay.
So, Kevin, as chair, I'm gonna test your knowledge of, so what is he allowed? Is he allowed 3 signs or only 2?
Well, are you talking about on this elevation?
No, on the whole property, the whole business.
Oh, I believe he could have, since since he's occupying the whole building. I could see where there could be a case made for a sign on the other side by the other entrance. However, I don't think the proposal meets what I would consider appropriate. But yeah, I think he can have more than these 2, because he is in the whole building. The good thing about this freestanding sign, though, is it's seen from multiple points of view, and I think does a pretty good job.
You can also see, if you zoom in, that one side is a little loose on that sign. I need to tighten it because it's not square there. So I have a project for after this meeting.
All the details of a restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess my comments, just to reiterate what I said last time, is, yeah, the billboard effect of this sign is pretty apparent. There's no real entrance into the building on that side. It sounds like Kevin is okaying the concept of a 3rd sign on the property or on the complex of buildings, if it's 2 buildings or whatever. That kind of gable end corner board type sign is not gonna work in this situation. So definitely open to a 3rd sign, but it needs to be near an entrance.
Okay, did we motion to hold this, I believe?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, good.
And I'll
Well,
put a motion on that.
I think we're all looking forward to seeing this get open, so sooner. Okay, what do we have up next? Or
Thank
was
you.
there anything else from you,
we
Gabriel?
have to vote on that, right, Kevin?
Oh, I'm sorry. All those in favor of holding for revisions?
Aye,
Ben,
Aye.
Paul,
aye.
and I'm in favor as well. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
So up next, we have sign here, Nantucket for 48 Center Street. This was a revision from the last meeting as well.
Okay, Caitlin, are you here from
Yep, I'm here.
sign here? Great.
I was just waiting for the application. So the notes from the previous submission were that the green color was too bright. So we did choose a darker green. So we made that revision on both of the signs. And that is the only revision. So yeah, that's an accurate picture.
Okay. Ben, does this work for you?
Yeah, let's give it a shot. I think we're seaweed green is at least nautical, so, or marine related, so, all right. I'm okay.
Paul, do you have any comments?
No comments.
What's a pleasure?
Motion to approve as submitted.
Second,
All those in favor, Ben,
Aye.
Paul,
I,
and I'm in favor as well. Thank you, Caitlin.
Thank you. Thanks.
That's for both of those, I believe, correct? Can we?
Motion to approve, yep. Second sign as well.
Sorry about that. Okay. So next up, we have Carolyn Butler for 18A Federal Street. And just give me a moment to get that pulled up and brought on the screen.
I'm Rich, by the way. I'm sitting in for Caroline. I co-own the company with her. Federal Street. Yeah, so our previous sign was Many Moons, which was the name of the. We have another retail business that's called Many Moons, where we changed this location and all of our store locations to a brand called Assemble. So the signage is exactly the same size as the previous sign. So it was 24 inches by, I believe, 16 and a half inches tall. And so we just like kind of like used a softer font, sort of like, toned down the white to a little bit more of a light gray. I think it kind of fits the street more nicely.
Do we have any kind of a border or frame on this? It's hard to tell from.
It's similar to the current sign. Yes, there'll be like whatever the color is in the word assemble, which is like a darker gray. It'll kind of hug the edge of the sign. So the current sign is Many Moons, and it's like a black, and there's a black edge.
Okay. Comments from the board, Paul,
I have no comments.
Ben?
I just want to make sure that this isn't a flag sign, because that's what it says on our agenda, but it's not. So I have no problem with this.
Right. I believe it's a blade. It should be a blade.
Yeah, okay, yeah, no concerns.
My apologies for that too.
Okay, no problem. I was just waiting for the flag to pop out.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that we have enough of a border on there so people can
Sure.
discern it. The other comment I want to make, and it's happened on this business and it's happened on pretty much all the neighboring businesses in this little building. And that's with the lighting. The lights seem to be on there all the time, all winter long when the stores are closed. And I can tell by the look of the bulb that that's way over the guidelines. I understand it's existing, but the town is really trying to tighten up on some of the lighting guidelines with the new dark skies guidelines. So
Okay.
I would encourage you at the very least to put, to lower the wattage down. And I also believe the new guidelines call for them to be open or to be lit only during open hours.
Right. Yeah, I fixed that. So correct me if I'm wrong, Natalia. I believe they turn off when the store closes, but I I did not set it to just stay off when it's closed. You are correct. Yes, sir.
Okay.
So I'll fix that. Yeah.
Great. Thank you. Pleasure of the board, Ben.
Motion to approve, barring the compliance with our lighting guidelines.
Yep.
We have a second, Paul.
I have a quick question.
Oh, okay.
There's a sign in the window,
Right.
the scanning gizmo.
Mhm.
I don't think that belongs there.
Okay. Right.
And
We can
I
take
don't
that.
know what the sign in the other window says, but I can't.
We're a B Corp certified company. So we meet like certain high level sustainable initiatives. But the barcode sign I can remove. Yeah.
Yeah, this is, an historic district and
Sure.
they didn't have barcodes back then.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
you could probably move it around towards the back a little bit or make it smaller and it'd be
Yeah.
less intrusive, but
So I'll second
okay.
it.
All those in favor, Ben,
Aye.
Paul,
Aye.
and I'm in favor as well.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you very much.
Yep.
Sign here is up again for 16 Old South Wharf this time.
So there are two signs for this. I'm not sure which one is first. Would you prefer that I go over both or just start with one?
You can do both. I think let's make it quicker.
Okay. So this first sign looks like the quarter board in the back of the building. This is a picture of both of them, but so this is at 16 Old South Wharf, and it's going to be a chocolate store. So they're looking for a quarter board in the back. Slide 5. Sorry. Slide 5 would kind of show you where on the building they're looking for that sign. You're right there. So that blue door, it's like Newport blue, that door is going to be an entrance, and they're looking for the quarter board over that door. So the quarter board on slide 6 is what they are looking for. It is a single-sided wall sign. It's going to be brown, gold, and white, and it's sized at 6 by 40. So that's the first sign in this application, and I think once we have a front view of the building, you might get a better sense of where on the wharf it is. So that's the first application. I think they're actually reversed. I meant to do the first one was supposed to be the projecting sign, but that's okay. So the second one is a projecting sign in the front. So slides 3 and 4 just show the building from, I'm not sure when this picture was taken, but there are 3 signs there, and we're looking at the middle location for this new sign using the existing bracket. So slide 5 and 6 are recent photos of this location. No signage is there right now, obviously. And then I included slide 7 and 8 just to show signs that were there approved in the past. I think one application I found was Island Weaves. And so we use this as like a reference for size for the sign that we're applying for. So the sign that we're applying for is sized at 20 by 12. It's double-sided projecting, and it's also brown and gold.
Okay. Do you have any other on the back of the building, or any of the other? It appears like it's all one building with different entrances. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And do any of the other entrances on this side of the building have signage?
If they do, it's not up at this time. So I can't confirm that, but I would assume that they do, yes. Because I know on the other side that is the case. So I would assume on this side that would be also the case.
Okay. Comments, Ben?
The only real concern I have is on the blade sign, and that you've included the word Nantucket. Unless if the name of the brand is Nantucket Faraway Chocolate, then I would be in favor of it. But if the company name is Faraway Chocolate, then Nantucket isn't required or allowed.
Okay, Paul?
I agree. Everybody knows we're on Nantucket, so I don't think we need that word. We've counseled a lot of other businesses to take the word Nantucket off of the sign. I think it's fine. Both are fine. On the other side, and Ben, Kevin, to answer your question, all these shops here have a front and a back door from the straight wharf side to the back side where there's more boats docked up. This sign here is fine, but it really bothers me that electrical cable goes right between the sign and the door. It just detracts from everything. That's not our purview, but I'm just going to comment about that. So,
Yeah, I tended to think the same thing on this. I don't know if there's a way to mount it closer to the door and just mount it proud of that conduit, or yeah, I know what you're saying. It's kind of a mess for an entrance.
I mean, the whole back there is such a back alley. I mean,
Yeah,
what's going on the right there? Is that some like, did they put a fire out on that thing? I mean, what's going on there? I mean, the AC condenser, this whole thing, you know, it's sort of like a back, I don't know. I kind of appreciate the sign just to soften the whole thing. You know, I don't, looks like a mess back there.
yeah, I don't disagree with anything that's been said. I think that Caitlin, I think this is a very nice sign for you guys, and shows a good effort to fit within the guidelines and still be something that's a little bit different. So anything you want to add, Caitlin, before we?
Yeah, I just wanted to circle back on that Nantucket comment. It is the name of the business, so.
Can we look at that? Can we look at that blade sign again then? So it is the name of the business, Nantucket Faraway Chocolate.
Yeah.
Not to chime in, I did Google it real quick while you guys were talking. It does come up as Nantucket Faraway Chocolate.
Okay.
Yeah, they're LLC. It's
Okay.
on the, yeah.
And then the corner board doesn't have Nantucket on it though. I've thrown that out there, but in that case, I think, and I think my board members are gonna hate me for saying this, but I think the Nantucket needs to be written in white.
No, I would disagree.
Well, I knew you'd say that. I mean, otherwise it looks like it's just sticking on there like, hey, we're on Nantucket, not like part of the name of the company.
Okay. I'm not opposed to it the way that it is. I think it is the name of the business. It does help push it back. I also agree it's really not necessary, but the way the sign is laid out, I think it's kind of innocuous.
All right. I mean, I think it's a very attractive design too, by the way. Okay, yeah, it's the name of the brand. There you go.
Okay, pleasure of the board. Oh, I just one question. What about lighting? Do we have any lighting?
So the lights that are there. They've been there forever.
Okay.
I can circle back with NIR on the status of those. So I'm not actually sure, but if they were to have the lighting, it would follow the protocols on and off in the turn of during business hours.
So you're not proposing any new lighting at this point?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right.
move approval.
So moved.
All those in favor, Ben?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
And I'm in favor as well. Thank you. Thank you, Caitlin.
Thank you.
That's for both of those, really.
Yep. And next, the last one on the list here is 57 Prospect Street. This is Bill O'Brien. I do want to, so he had come in, the last this was on an agenda was, I want to say August or September, but the actual video for this, I'm not sure if it was ever recorded because I couldn't find a video. and I couldn't find minutes. So I just had Bill come back with the original application. He's new to this. I believe it was a different representative last time, so we could just all kind of start fresh with the same application, see what needs to happen.
Yeah, I'm truly at a disadvantage here. I have picked up an assignment for a colleague of mine that left the company. And now I don't have a file. I don't have anything to present. I think, Billy, you said you had a package that was submitted.
Yes, just give me a second. I'm bringing it up.
I do remember this from a while back.
It seems that there were comments, but we can't find them. So that's why Billy suggested we come back and start over.
And was this I just want to make sure I have the right one. This is not correct. Hang on a second. I thought I had moved it into the folder that I have for this meeting, but I apologize. Hang on a moment.
I thought it was pretty clear in the packet.
Oh, that's what I need to. My apologies. I could pull it up that way.
I think there was some concern about the frame of that frame sign being on top of the others trim.
Okay.
Oh,
Does this look familiar to you guys?
Yeah, it's starting to look familiar. What's the proposal though? It's like,
yeah, what are we looking at?
I believe that the proposal is in here, right there.
over the front door there.
As I understand this, the proposal is to not do the attached wall sign, but to do individual letters, similar to the emergency entrance.
Oh yeah, there you go.
And Cottage Hospital there as well.
Yep.
And I think that there was some discussion as to whether or not that trim board what size letters that could hold. But that's what I recall.
So, well, it's not my turn.
Oh, go ahead, Paul, if you got.
All right, is the proposal to, in the left-hand picture, to take the words Pursley Pavilion and put them on the freeze board in letters similar to the one on the right?
That's right.
That's correct.
Yep.
The emergency, I go in and out of there all the time, but I don't remember. Is that emergency word there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe everything is there in those photographs is current.
I don't have any problem. I move approval.
Okay, let's hear what Ben has.
Oh, I haven't.
Yeah, I'm fine with the concept of removing that corner board sign and replacing it with individual letters. That conceptually is fine with me. The size of the proposed letters of 5 1/4, and that freeze board or whatever you want to call it, where you apply it to, appears to be somewhere in the 7 to 8 inch range, maybe, which make me think that it's okay, but that image doesn't look like the architectural elevation. If you could scroll to that for us, there you go. So that it fits great right there, but that freeze board is not what the freeze board really looks like. So I would put it on the applicant to review that, because I'm worried that it's not going to really fit like it's drawn. I'll also just make a note that the shell sign in the gable is not existing anymore.
Right.
It's like some logo now. If we can look at that. Yeah. So that's unfortunate, but the concept of replacing it with the lettering is absolutely fine.
So I think that with just, I guess the concern is understanding how those individual letters are going to fit within that board.
Yeah, that's right. That's it. Thank you, Kevin. That's my concern. And that unapproved kind of logo looking thing rather than the shell. I'm not sure.
I think that did get approved.
Oh, did it? That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Would you guys entertain the applicant submitting the size of that board for staff to verify that the lettering would be appropriately sized?
Well, could we say that the letters will match the size, the same size as the one to the right? And where the board is the same and the letters are proportionate to the board, couldn't we say that these letters are to match the same on the Carp Family Emergency Department sign?
The trim
I think
detail is
that-
different.
I think that would work. I just can't tell if the board is the same size.
Yep. I think my proposal is to hold for revisions, but the revisions being that where the board, the detailing of this building gets accurately depicted and the lettering in scale gets drawn on there, so we can actually see it fitting properly.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
I think just a graphical, a graphic illustration of it is what we're looking for.
Billy, could you scroll up to the other? Yeah, right there.
Yep.
So I need to verify that these are the letters that will go on that fascia board.
That's right, but that elevation isn't accurately drawn.
Okay.
There's see all those layers that board is sort of the existing sign kind of melds over. That's not being illustrated on that elevation.
Okay. So we've got to revise that elevation to reflect exactly what it is, then place the letters on it to see that they're proportionate.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Okay.
The only thing I have to add, I think this horse has already left the barn, but just so everybody notes that these are, I believe, they are plastic letters, acrylic letters. And I think that's already happened on the site as a whole, so I'm okay with that at the time being. So it sounds like a motion to hold for revisions. Is that your motion, Ben?
Yes, it is.
Second.
All those in favor, Ben?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
And I'm in favor as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Thanks, Billy, for digging into that. I really appreciate it. I was at a loss with everything.
You're welcome.
I believe that
was one I just said he had come in and I had to backtrack. I couldn't figure out where it was.
Yeah.
So
I always wondered what happened to it. Is that it for today?
Yes, that is the last of the applications today.
Great. Thank you, Billy, for your help.
All right.
Motion to adjourn, please.
So
I'll
moved.
make that motion.
Second,
All those in favor, Ben?
Aye.
Oh,
aye.
and I'm in favor as well. Thank you very much, you guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Good day.